This is Stable Secrets. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Riley. Horses may not talk, but trust us, their riders sure do.
We're two friends in the hunter-jumper world, pulling back the curtain on the barn life we all live.
The highs, the lows, and the secrets in between. Jordyn Zoul is a small animal vet that is heavily involved in the equine industry as a competitor and owner. She graduated with a bachelor's in finance from Lehigh University. She had a career shift and pursued her DVM at the University of Wisconsin, where she graduated in 2023. She is working on moving up the amateur jumper ranks with her mare, Ella. Thanks for coming on, Jordyn.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. You go ahead and tell us, how did you start showing as an amateur, or how long have you been showing?
I mean, I guess I've been showing technically since I was maybe like 7, but God, back then I was doing, who even knows what I was doing, local shows in South Georgia. I remember I did like a 4-H show one time because I had the ribbon, I had the 4-H clover in the middle. So I mean, nothing like the big circuits or anything. And then I think maybe when we moved up to Atlanta when I was like 13, 14, we did a couple A shows, but we could maybe afford to do like two actual like rated shows a year. We would go to Chattahoochee, no, not Chattahoochee, Chateau Alon. Did you ever go there, Riley? Yeah?
No. When I evented as a kid, all the older kids went up there, but by the time that I could have done it, they closed it.
Yeah, I heard they closed it, which is sad because I have good memories there. But yeah, we do like Chateau Alon, Wills Park, and I think I did Conyers one time. And then when we moved to Chicago in high school, we did like Ledges and Lamplight. But again, like we only could afford to go there maybe like twice a year. But we would do like little local, like Illinois hunter jumper shows. And then I did IHSA all through college. So obviously that's like a different machine entirely. And then when I got out of vet school, I was chomping at the bit, no pun intended, to as soon as I had a full-time job with regular income, I was like, I'm spending it all on horses. I'm gonna get back into like competitive showing as like more than I have ever done because I didn't ever get to do as much as I wanted to do as a kid. So yeah, I think I got Ella in December of 2023. It's about like 6 months after I graduated, and then we started showing fall of 24. So yeah, I've just been doing more of it ever since then.
That's awesome. It's a good, like, decent long history with showing and horses.
Yeah, and like the recent history only, I mean, it's so expensive to show no matter what, and I've put all my resources to going to the rated shows. So it's, you know, Aiken, Tryon, Ocala, and now Wellington. But yeah.
Hey, hold on, you met me in Blowing Rock.
I crossed off a lot of places this year.
You did do Brownland, yeah.
Fairburn. But yeah, just like doing that, I guess the A, whatever they call the national and premier now instead of A and AA, just the stuff that I didn't really get to do as a kid but always like really idolized. So just seeing like every side, I guess, of the showing industry now, which I think is good. I have like a unique perspective on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So with all that, when did you begin feeling that the system wasn't built with amateurs in mind, and what keeps you coming back at this point?
I think I realized it pretty much day one of that first show. It's hard. I always like kick myself as an adult now, like how little I paid attention when I was a kid. Like I think most of us can say our parents probably paid for most things when you're a kid, just like everyone's parents do. Because of that, you don't have as much understanding of what's going on because you're just like, the bill is paid for you. And all I knew as a kid was I don't have enough money to get to do the shows that everybody else gets to do, and as much of them as everybody else gets to do. That's all I knew. But now the second I became an adult competitive amateur, which would have been August of 2024, I think was our first show in Aiken. I mean, it was apparent then. You just can't believe when you go to check out at the show that that's really your bill, because you can look at the prize list ahead of time and see how much the classes are. Like, I think when I did the meter, that show, and I think I did 1.90 class because it's our first show, I remember the class being like $65, which isn't that bad, and I usually do 3 classes, maybe 4 max, and $65 for that is not that bad, times 4. But then you go to check out and you get to be, you know, have almost $1,000 bill, and you just can't understand how it adds up that quick. And you break it down, and it's all these fees, and it's one thing to, okay, well, the stall is $300, that's fair, you know, I have to have the stall, I guess. But then you can even break down the stall more and say, well, on certain weeks at the exact same show for different shows, like at the exact same grounds for different shows, they charge more. Like over the summer when in September when it kind of dies down at Tryon, they'll have these like schooling series shows where the stalls are not $350 like they normally are when you're doing the rated stuff for their summer and spring series. And I can't speak on all of the showgrounds. I don't want to say something incorrect, but I have heard that other places do that as well. And it's like it's the same exact show. They're just price gouging because they can get away with it. And you could break that down for every single fee. I mean, then you see, you go to check out that first show in Aiken, and there's the $25 USEF fee, the $35 USHJ fee, whatever. And what is that? Because I just paid my yearly USHJ subscription, which was 3 figures. I mean, it was at least $200, right? So why am I having to pay every single show an additional fee to you guys? So yeah, I would say pretty much that first show became an apparent, and every single show thereafter it gets worse, because as you almost get punished for doing well and moving up, because you start having to pay that your class entry fees are more, and
the nomination fee.
Right. You have the nomination fee. I guess playing devil's advocate, someone might hear this and say, oh, well, prize money, you could get prize money. Sure, if your class has a realistic number of like 20 entrants, maybe you get prize money, but let's not have any like naive ideas that me on my $25,000 horse in a class of 80 people in Wellington is going to win any prize money. I'm not going to. Maybe once in a blue moon I'll get lucky, but I've got people in there who have horses that are worth, but most of those horses are 6 figures and more, and they have multiple horses, and even if I am the best rider and best horse, you're gonna have an unlucky rail with 80 people. You're not making prize money. Most of the people in that class are not making prize money. So it just becomes more apparent the more you go with it and go up the ranks at every show.
Well, and even with the prize money, I feel like unless you're in the big classes, even if you are winning, it's not like you're getting much at the end of the day,
Right.
Like for as much as the entry fee is per person to enter that class, it's like, congrats, this is a $500 class. Like, we're going to split it up and you get $200 or something like that, whatever the split is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and Jordyn got to witness this. I had an anomaly this summer because going to heritage shows like a Blowing Rock, the prize money was tenfold better than any horse show I've ever been to.
Oh, was it?
The horse show paid me after 2 weeks.
Love that.
First place in like the meter 10 and the meter 20 was $275 for just a regular class.
No, yeah. And anyone, I hope, like, not thinking this podcast is going to make it to the ears of the powers that be, but I will always go to Blowing Rock because of that. The money was so good and for what you paid. Yeah. And I don't know how they did it. I don't know enough about the mechanics of the behind the scenes, because I definitely didn't pay more to be there. I didn't feel like the class entry fees were more. But I walked away with so much more money, or I should say a less show bill. And I had an anomaly. I don't know if I told you, Riley, but when I went to Fairburn, the show paid me, which has never happened.
No way.
Yeah, because they have a meter 10 memorial, like meter 10, 15 memorial class there. And so like that's actually what their big money is in that meter 10, 15 division for whatever reason. It's a memorial of someone who used to do something there. I wish I remembered her name. But they paid me, but not to be negative Nancy, I profited, I think it was $118, but I still had to pay the trainer, which most trainers I think are going to average you $100 a day for a show, and that's probably on the low end, honestly, of things. So I had to pay the trainer $300, so I'm still net negative overall.
Well, back in the day when I was a kid too, we were doing the local hunter jumper circuit in Katy, and I don't know how they did it back then too, but I would get paid to show. Like, we would place well enough and walk away, and they would send us home with money. And it was like, how did we get so far from that? For those same local shows now, they're almost as much as a rated show to go do a local show on the weekends. So wait, like that's a stark difference.
Yeah. A local, like, C-rated show paid you?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So ours, like, I want to say they maybe have a derby that's, like, a $500 derby or something like that, but at ours, they're, like, zero money classes. So.
Oh, yeah, no. These were just regular division classes, and at that point, I was in junior high showing in different levels at that point, like either the smallest, the next step up, or whatever, because I wasn't doing the biggest class. And just your regular divisions, they paid, I want to say it was like $20 for a first place, 15 for a second, and 10 for a third or something for every jumper class. And the horse I was on at the time, Atlantis, we would go and just smoke everybody. And there was a couple times that they were like, hey, we owe you money.
That's awesome.
Like after all the fees and everything. And so it was like, wow. Because if there were more than a set number of people, they would pay you more and blah, 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 whatever it was. But nowadays they don't do any of that.
Well, something interesting too, 2 different show venues, Desert Horse Park. Any first place you get, you can go to one of the merch shops and trade it in for stuff, like for swag. And then Venice, same thing, every blue ribbon, you can like cash it in for some type of merchandise as well, which is cool. And I wish more horse shows did that too, because like, take my 50-cent blue ribbon back, recycle it for another horse show, give me a hat, give me a shirt, give me something. Makes me feel like a little more worth it. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's it. I always appreciate the showgrounds. Tryon will do that too. If you get a first place, you get a little something, a hat or whatever. And I think like that, the prize money thing is hard because that's most of the people, what's a better word than haters, I guess critics of what we're talking about right now would probably latch on to the prize money argument. And to their credit, my classic I did on Sunday this week at WEF was a $1,000 classic, which is really big, right? Like that's more money than you're gonna see even at like Aiken Triumph.
Good money. Absolutely.
Yeah. I placed a lot. They do place up to 12, which I appreciate because that's more than most other showgrounds are gonna place up to 10 in a classic. And I got 11th, so I did get money, but it was $485, which I believe my entry fee was $475 for that class, which is an insane number for a class entry fee. So I just covered my class entry fee, and I was 11th. That means only one other person beneath me also covered it, and the rest, there's 37 people in that class. The other 29 people got nothing.
Nothing.
And they were $485 in the hole. So I have to imagine all 37 of those people, they're all amateurs. It's an amateur class. No one is going in there with the idea that they're going to make a living off of this. That's why you're an amateur. Otherwise you would be a professional. So I can't speak for the bulk of amateurs, but personally I don't need to prize money to be big. If I would rather pay you a less entry fee. Like, I'd rather pay you $50 for that classic and just get points to accumulate for year-end awards and stuff than prize money, because that's not why I'm doing it, and I don't expect to make money when I go to a show. No one in the horse world is expecting to make money when they go to a show, unless you're a professional. It's impossible. So even if you were the first place winner in that class, you're gonna have to pay money for your show bill between trainer fee, stall, and stuff. So I don't know. I would personally rather see them do cheaper entry fees and then make it more attainable for more people, and then we all just are working towards points, and then getting some sort of year-end recognition.
And personally, I'd love both. I want money and points. Well, yeah. But the nice thing, once you hit the 120s and above, your points is your prize money. So say you made $385, you get 385 points, which does help, because 110 and below is not that way. It's the standardized whatever set amount for each placing. So there's a little bit of a silver lining in the prize money as you go up, because this is a huge points person. Because what did you end up horse of the year? What'd you get?
Second horse of the year.
So close.
That's crazy.
But so good.
The woman who was
close.
First was like blowing she had been to like 20 competitions, and I, who was second, had been to 13, I think, or 14 in the year. So I mean, you can't compete with that. But
wait, was it Tanita?
No, Tanita came in third.
Yes, you beat this woman. She's wonderful. She's an old lady. Her daughter's her trainer, but she has this Spitfire gray mare that, like, the first time I saw them in person was in Blowing Rock, and she was so fast. She was so scrappy. Like, she held on tight. I was really grateful she went off course in a jump off once, because then I won the class. But like, I could never beat her. Jordyn beat her, but I could never beat her.
That's really hysterical.
Fast. Yeah. No, she was ahead of me, and then when I went to Fairburn, that was my last show of the 2025 season, I came away with enough points to edge her out, and I got second. So,
girl,
well,
that's awesome.
Yeah, you are talking to someone who knows like points like the back of their hand. Like I was following, you can go on the USHJ site and, follow that. No, I recognize no one is going to be like me and be that obsessive, but I do think that there is something to be said for most amateurs want to feel like they're achieving something. They want to A, feel like they're having fun, and B, feel fulfillment. Like we're all doing this. I always say like I feel bad for people who don't ride horses because what are you living for? If you're like, what do you do if you don't ride horses? Like, do you have goals? And like, I guess like you have a goal to like beat someone in cycle class. I don't know, but we have like goals to work for, and like you can feel really fulfilled and like, dang, like I beat the girl that I wanted to beat in my division, and like totally out of respect and stuff. But like, or like, okay, I did well enough this year where I can move up to the next division next year. I don't see any amateurs out there being like, hell yeah, I made $5,000 at this like, no one, that's not realistic. You're not going to be making consistent money as an amateur doing what we're doing.
Was it at Brownland where you were sitting there beside me and you were rattling through Horse of the Year points and like placings, and she didn't have to look at her phone or anything, but she could tell me who was in every single spot and how many more points she needed to beat them, and I was like, go Jordyn, go.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I used to do
awesome.
that so bad too when I was in high school and junior high, and I like showed consistently and all of that. I was like, all right, I'm in this place. This person is X points behind me, blah, 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 blah. I need this, this, and this weekend to beat them. It's addicting.
No, it's addicting. And I think there's like, obviously there's like, I'm probably too much into the weeds with it and it's unhealthy, but I think it's good for a lot of reasons because it gives you something to work for, gives you goals. But
Yeah.
Agreed.
But yeah, on that vein, and I might be jumping ahead, but they make it very, very difficult to even, the way I've had to study the frickin' USHJ handbooks on like, if there's this many people in your class, a first place is worth this many points. If there's this many people in your class, a third place is worth this many points. And sometimes they only give points up through 8th place, but sometimes they'll give points up through the 12th place. It depends on what the show is placing up to. And then, like, for, I would say every place I showed this year placed at least to 7th or 8th place. Like, no one's only placing through 6. That's kind of like more of like a local show thing, at least in my experience. But for the year-end Horse of the Year awards, they only place up to 6. Which is so,
Really?
yeah, which is so unfair because imagine if you're looking at those things and you see, oh, I'm in 7th place. I would assume that you're going to get an award for
Right,
7th place because
yeah.
almost every show that we go to places through 7th at least, but they only give 6 places. So that's something that I had to figure out. I actually emailed them about that. I was like, what's it to you guys to give one more ribbon out for 7th place, But I've never met with anything constructive when I email them. Like, I always I'm very polite in saying like, hey, I noticed that this was a rule. Just a little feedback from an amateur. Like, it would be, I think it would make a lot of amateurs feel more included and like more accessible if you offered Horse of the Year placings up through 8th place or something. I think with that specific email, I had also asked like, why do you only place through 6? All I was met back with was like the explanation was like, this is just how USHJ has made the rules. And I'm like,
my
okay,
God.
but like it's literally just a game. You can change the rules. Like, it's not that
Right.
serious.
Right.
yeah.
Walk us through a normal show bill before you even enter the ring, and at what point does cost become the biggest barrier?
So I can just do, so I don't know if this would be normal because this is my most recent show, which would be Wellington, and obviously Wellington's going to be like the creme de la creme, most expensive show probably in the country.
But that is normal for some people, like a lot of people, not
Yeah.
us, but a lot of people.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, this is where most people in the sport come to right now. So before you even get in the ring, you're paying $35 ambulance fee. You're paying a $25 USEF fee, a $10 USHJA fee, 70. So this is optional, which I didn't have having to pay for this, but a $75 WEF membership fee. I don't actually know what that is, but it was on there originally. You pay for, I had a $60 grounds fee because I didn't have a stall. My stall was through my trainer's stall block. TBD if we can get the $60 stall fee removed because I am technically have a stall through my trainer, but there's you even if you get out of the $300 stall charge, you still have a $60 fee that you have to pay just to like use the grounds. Which, side note, Wellington makes it impossible for you to haul in. Most showgrounds, to their credit, will charge you the $60 a day grounds fee to just haul in and out, which I really, really appreciate, because if you live nearby, that's saving you a $300 stall, which is amazing, which I did at Tryon when I was there this summer. It can save you a lot of money. Wellington will charge you the $60 fee. You cannot haul in and out of there because they will not let you keep a trailer on site, even for the hour you're there to show. It is extremely strict. You can't
Wow.
park a trailer there. And between the hours of 6:30 and 9:30, they don't even allow trailers in, so you have to have dropped your horse off the night before.
What?
There is nowhere on the Wellington Showgrounds to park a trailer. You have to go, they have like a site that is not on site, like like miles away to park your trailer. So most people just like leave it at their farm, because everyone here has a farm that they stay at while they're here.
Wait, could you have somebody drive you in, you unload the horse, and then they leave, and then you show the horse and they come get you?
Yeah, but so that's what I ended up doing this weekend. The place that my horse stays, that I'm living, is 15 minutes away from the show. So the woman I live with was nice enough to kind of lend me her groom that she has, and he came and picked Ella up after I was done showing, and then he dropped her off. But then he can't stay there, right? So by the time he already is back home, he almost has to turn around and come back to get her. It only takes me 45 minutes to show. So by the time he comes home, he has to turn around and get her. That's how strict they are. It's really, really, really inaccessible to people who might be trying to like do this in a less expensive way, in a less like fancy way, I guess. I don't want to say like, I don't know. I don't want to say like ritzy, because I think that's a negative connotation. But if you kind of just want to be the backyard kid who's got the horse, but you want to be amongst the best competition, you can't do that here. They have set up Wellington to be like, they want you to be the uber wealthy client who has a $10 million farm that's a hackable distance to the showgrounds, right? Like, this is set up for people who can ride their horse from their home barn to the showgrounds,
Right.
like from Grand Prix Village, and those houses are $10 million. So they're really, really like showing their colors about who they have set this whole thing up for.
Yeah, there's nothing economical about it.
No, they're not. It's not friendly to people who are below the 1% wealth. Anywho, then there's an office fee for $85, and then there's a jumper nomination fee for $270. So that is all of the
$85
that
before
yeah,
you
that,
get in the ring.
Yep. That
I
was
did the mental math as you were going. Sorry.
actually, I think I have a total here, and it's $560 for miscellaneous fees. $560
good Lord.
miscellaneous. And then for this particular one, the class fees were $710. That includes just two classes, a meter 20 division class and a meter 20 classic. 2 classes, $710.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That classic is $575, and this is for meter 20, by the way. $575 classic. Again, personally, I don't need to pay to be in a $15,000 classic. I'm not going to make I don't need to make that much money. It'd be nice, like, I agree, Riley, like, for sure, it'd be awesome, but if it's between having the chance to maybe make $2,000, but having to pay $575, or not paying $575 and maybe making $100, I'd take the latter every time, because you can't guarantee you're going to make $2K every time. If you're not going to win the class every time, it's just not realistic. So
Do they only have classics on Sundays, or can you do another 120 class on Sunday instead?
there's only a classic, because they don't do any open classes on Sunday. Open's only on Friday. There might be like, no, I don't.
Sometimes they do junior am classes on Sundays too, like just after your classic or just before. But I've seen a bunch of horse shows do that. I wasn't sure if WEF did it. I know Tryon does it.
Yeah, but when I was in the metered stuff, they would sometimes have one of like your third division class or be on a Sunday, and then your classic was after. Once
Yeah.
you're in the meter, I think meter 10 and definitely meter 20, they only have 3 classes, because I think like the idea is the horses work too hard.
Yeah.
So it's going to just
Okay.
be the Friday one, the Saturday one, and then your classic on Sunday.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this total bill was $1,275, $270. 160 of that was miscellaneous fees. 110 of that was class fees, and that's only 2 classes.
You ready for this? This is Aiken. Okay. So I'm also lazy and I use a credit card, so I pay a convenience fee.
Well, they don't advertise it heavily at these places. They don't. Some of them are good at telling you, but some of them it'll tell you at the very end, like, oh, convenience fee because you used a card. I'm like, if you had told me, I would have brought a check. I swear, I would have brought a check. And I have paid with check
Yeah.
before, multiple times.
A
because
lot of people do. I haven't,
Mm-hmm.
dude, I couldn't tell you where my checkbook is. It's been
Same.
so
It's
long.
gone.
I know, I think like Blowing Rock is like a 4%. Everywhere else is usually like a 3% credit card fee. So I just kind of like accept it and whatever it is,
You
what
need
it
to
is.
drop in the bucket to what you're paying, but yeah.
It's just extra points on your end at that point.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll start with the non-showing fees. USEF USHJA fees, $33. Jumper
Wait,
nomination.
Was that combined like together? They were it just says one fee, 33.
Yeah, USEF slash USHJA is what it is, and it says 33.
Okay, so that together is 35 at Wellington.
Okay. Jumper nomination for the 120s was 200.
Okay, that was 270 at Wellington.
Okay. Stall at 250.
I forget.
You didn't have to pay a stall.
Wellington. I gotta look up really quick how much a stall is at Wellington.
Did you have splits on yours?
No.
You didn't say anything about splits.
Oh wow, it's $395 for the cheapest stall at Wellington.
Wow.
Gross.
I didn't have splits on my bill because I paid my trainer separately for split stuff like stall and shavings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, night watch fee 20, office fee 75, medic fee 30, and then trainer split was 310. Then I'm lazy. I did a convenience fee on $75 is what it said. So it gave me it gave me a refund of $77.78. Why? I don't remember. So I did a 115 class. That was $40.
Okay, that's
I
good.
did
That's cheap. That's cheap class fee. That's good.
Yeah, I did 120 class. Or actually, the 120 class I think is Quinn's. That was $65 because she warmed him up one day for me. I had a questionable day, so I did a 3-3 jumping medal one morning for $40. And then the division fee for the 120s was $310. And then
That covered all your classes of the amateur meter 120. Or sorry, the
And
amateur.
you know what I'm realizing? Which is weird because I couldn't check out till the classic was pinned. Maybe because whatever the entry for the classic was less than it, so they just took it off my bill entirely. But there's not a classic entry fee on the top like line items.
Maybe it's included in your division fee.
Maybe because okay, yeah, maybe. So Quinn won me $55 in her 120 warm up. I got $55 in one of my 120 classes, and then in my classic I won $325. So my bill came out to $863, but before that it was $1375.
It's so interesting. Really, at the end of the day, you did 2 more classes, I think, than this bill had on it. You did 2 or 3 more classes.
I did 4 more.
There was 5 on.
I was gonna say at least 3. Yeah.
Because I did the jump seat, I did the 115, I did 2 120 classes, and I did a 120 classic, and then Quinn did a 120.
Okay, so 6 versus 2. Yeah, I mean that's fair. But so it ends up being a little bit more, but you did more classes. So I don't know. I guess it's a little bit cheaper, but it's still fairly similar.
And
Yeah.
there are fraction of the amount of people that were in my classes versus your classes.
Yeah.
Mine had
So you
like
had
10
more
tops.
chance to win. What place did you get in that classic?
7th.
So you got 300 something bucks for 7th place.
It was a
And I got-
$3,500 classic.
Yeah, and I got 400 something bucks for 11th place, which obviously is a little bit better, but still like not that much better. Like,
Well, because you said yours was a $10,000 classic. Yeah, mine was $3,500. So
I
you
w-
should have gotten more.
yeah, but it's not as much as you would think. Like,
Well, because the winner gets 30%. So
yeah.
it's like, and it breaks it down from there. But
I would
yeah.
rather take the Aiken setup 100 times out of 100 than the Wellington setup. Like, you get to show more. There's less people in your class.
Why was your nomination fee so much more than mine?
Probably just because it was a bigger prize money. But it was only $70 more, $270. But still, yeah, it's more, $70 more. I don't know. I can't speak for, maybe you guys give your opinion, but between that Aiken bill and my bill, you got to do way more classes and there was less people in your class, so you had more chance of being competitive for a little bit less prize money. Like, you made 300 something bucks, I made 400 something bucks. I would take the Aiken situation 100 times. I don't need a $15,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
So like you said, I could do, the horse did 6 classes and won that much money. And, you know, like you said, Quinn's class had like 20 in it. Mine had like 10. And then, yeah, no, I would take mine. tenfold. More bang for your buck,
Yeah.
as they say.
Yeah, more bang for your buck.
Absolutely.
And even still, I mean, that's still an expensive bill. I mean, $1,300 is a lot of money that most Americans would not be able to do that every weekend. So it's still a crazy expensive sport.
Can I mention one inconvenience thing with Aiken, though?
Yeah.
Unless it is Aiken charity, nothing is filmed. You have the guarantee of Showgrounds Live. Now, don't get me wrong, you still have to pay for Showgrounds Live. I pay for Clip My Horse annual subscription, but that's not even on Clip My Horse. So there's a caveat there.
Yeah, Aiken doesn't film. Yeah, this year, I guess it's new. They have started making you pay $10 every show for Showgrounds Live, even if you don't use it.
Access to watch your videos?
I still have to pay my video fee.
So Great Southwest does that too. What is like $20 because they have ringside like replay as you go, and you can watch free replays of it on the website with a huge watermark over it until the Monday after the horse show, and then after that you have to pay to even watch the replay of it. You can't it's not like you can like screen record it and it can be something pretty. There's a massive watermark on it that prohibits that.
That's insane. I don't even, you love video, which of course I do too. If I was made of money, I'd watch all the videos, but
Absolutely.
I don't want the fucking video. Sorry.
You can, it's fine.
You can say it. I've said it. It's okay. Let it out.
If you don't want it to be in there, tell me and I can cut it out.
No, that's fine. It'll hammer the point home. I can't believe you're making me pay $10 to use this platform that if you gave me the choice between paying $10, I wouldn't use it. It's okay. I don't need to use it. Like, what? And I pay for this $10 and you still are going to make me pay for the video?
Well, and like it drives me crazy because like down here we'll have winter series with something that's upcoming in the Katy horse shows. It's 3 or 4 weeks back to back to back of horse shows. So you show 1 week, you have the fee tacked onto your bill. Great, cool. Don't love it, but I like the videos, whatever. The second week comes around. Your first week videos, you can't watch them anymore unless you want to pay for them. So you're going to pay again to get your videos, but you can't even go back and kind of compare and contrast. Like I love to go and watch my videos and like, okay, this was the mistake I made in this round. Did I make it in a similar spot in this course? Vice versa. You have to go back and pay for all of those to rewatch any of your rides.
Yeah, because it ends the Monday after the horse show. Otherwise, it's free replays. But like I said, with a massive watermark. So it's not like then they have like a big thing. Oh, like screen recording is stealing, all this kind of stuff, like all over the video too. So there's no way around it. But they find every way to con you out of all your dollars.
No, truly.
All of them.
And like, what if you weren't going to share the video and you just want it for yourself? Like, the watermark really needs to be there for that?
Yeah.
Obviously, they don't know if you're going to spread or not, but still, like, if you're just using it for your own, like Kelsey said, like, I just want to, like, see my improvement and get better from my film. I paid for this. Why is there a huge watermark? That is... And that you can't go... So are they charging you every week for the fee? Like you have to
every week.
Yeah, that's how... You'd think, like, if maybe once a season fee, like once a series.
Or once even a series, and then give us maybe a month to go back and watch them or something like that, not less than a week. Like, once that competition is over, like Riley said, that next Monday, you're done. You can't watch them unless you're going to pay more to watch them again. And then to download them all, you have to pay another fee, and they're not cheap. I mean, they're not stupid expensive, but considering you've already paid for them, you still have to pay for them.
And while we're on this tangent too, Showgrounds Live, depending on which horse show you're watching, is different. Wellington, you cannot, even the same day or the same horse show week, if you click play beside any of those things, you have to pay. If you go to Tryon or Desert Horse Park, that week at least, you can go and watch any of the rounds for free. You barely even have to log in. But I know, like, I want to say some of them have live ring fees, not WEF, but Tryon and Desert Horse Park that are free while it's at least going on. I know WEF will have it on Showgrounds or now maybe Clip My Horse when there's like a big money class, like the Saturday night class.
But you can only watch live for the international ring. If you want to watch live for any of the others, you have to pay.
Right. Yeah. So that's crazy too.
Yeah. Which, I mean, to circle back to be on theme, I would say that's just more breeding grounds for inaccessibility. Like, if you want to grow the love and attention to this sport and like grow the fan base, make it easy for people to watch and keep up with it. My husband always says, God, I hope that you guys gain so much traction, because I feel like this is just like such a good quote that could like go everywhere. And my husband, not a horse person, like no idea what the horse world was until he met me. but big sports guy, like, football, basketball, that stuff. And he's like, and I'll complain about stuff. He's like, they don't want this sport to be accessible, Jordyn. They want it to be elitist. He said that from his opinion, as an outsider, it seems like the horse world wants to stay inaccessible and elitist. And I kind of have to agree with them. I think it feels to me that a lot of people at the top don't want me there. Like, they don't want the person who might not have, like, the fanciest breeches and be able to, like, have the fanciest tack and horse. It, like, ruins their vibe, kind of. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It ruins the aesthetic of it all.
Yeah, exactly. It ruins the aesthetic, which this sport is, like, for some reason, like, poop and manure and sawdust, like, the sport is, like, all about aesthetics. And they don't want to ruin the aesthetic. They don't want the average Joe to be a part of it.
Okay, so Jordyn, you were talking about hauling in, and the rich people have those STX vans that they bring that are logo and everything. How does it feel seeing high-end vans welcomed and they can park on site while amateurs pay the mandatory stall fees and, like you said previously, can't do all the hauling in that you can do at every other horse show?
Yeah, this whole week was my first week here. For context, I have just coveted so hard an STX van. I have told my husband 100 times this is my dream car. I'll just drive this to the grocery store, whatever. It must have been developed because of Wellington. Like, they had to figure out a way to get around the hauling stuff, because all these people have, a string of 5 horses, and they don't want their horse sitting there all day. And so as soon as they're done, they take the horse back, and then they get around that hauling and out thing because the van is just like a car, so it can park. But whatever person designed the parking lots of Wellington, they're not standard width parking lots. So even a pickup truck sticks out. Like, anyone who drives through there knows what I'm talking about. You can't, like, if the diagonal parking lanes are like this, the ends of the cars are so close, you have barely enough room to get by. And the horse vans are a huge problem with that too. I mean, they stick out. There's nearly not room for them in a normal spot, but they get around it, I guess, because they are considered a van, and probably because most of the people who have them are part of the elite crew that keeps the showgrounds going. But yeah, those things are nice. They would make a heck of a difference if you could have one.
It sounds like the try-on parking lots.
Yeah, except
like when you're, like, in there, not the front thing by the barn, but when you're in those parking lots, good luck backing out of a spot if you have a truck.
Yes, and I would say that Wellington is worse than that. But I know what you're talking about. But yeah, Wellington's worse for sure. You got it. When it's busy, like, go through. You can't drive through there. You have to go so slow, and you're about to, like, ding someone's car. It's crazy.
That's excessive. Too much.
But it feels very much like, again, it's not tailored for someone like me who might be able to come and save a couple $100 by hauling in and out. They don't want you to do that. It just feels like they want you to have the STX van, They don't, yeah. And I'm probably making them out to be more malicious than whoever they is, but that's the optics of it.
They kind of did a similar thing at Great Southwest as well. So we live within a 30-minute radius of Katy. And so growing up, we would just haul into horse shows, all of that, even for the A shows, double A's, whatever. Haul in, we'd take our horses home because they just live in my parents' backyard. And we'd rather them go out, get some more pasture time, whatever. Yeah. And a few years into us doing that, they changed the rules to where you weren't allowed to haul in for the day. You had to get a stall. You had to have all of this. And that was fine. I mean, at the end of the day, it was less work for us, having to hook up the trailer, haul back and forth, less wear and tear on the horse, I guess, and the truck and trailer. But then now they still allow just a couple trainers to haul in with their trailer and tie up to the trailer and sit outside. But you have to get it special approved. Yeah.
How can they excuse that? Who do they let do that?
It's just been a couple people, and I haven't been there the last few years consistently, so I don't know if they're still allowing that. But it was always like 1 or 2 trainers, and they would pull up to the front arena, Tellipson, I think. Yeah, Tellipson, Riley. And they would park along the front, like, grass at the edge of the parking lot and just tie their horses up, and they were good to go. And once they were done, they'd just send them home.
That sucks.
That's very obvious, like, elitism, favoritism, but Jesus. And why did they ever give a reason for why they got rid of the hauling in the first place?
They said the horses just weren't allowed to leave the premises, health certificate reasons, all that. We were like, we have health certs, we have all of that, but they didn't want to risk contamination or whatever it was at the time. Like it was around the time of one of the big breakouts of some disease, and so they kind of cracked down. And that was at least understandable. So we're like, well, that's fine.
Yeah, because y'all did have that big outbreak a few years ago.
This was a long time ago, so.
Okay. Can I mention one positive to the hauling in thing? Not at WEF, but between WEC Ocala and HITS Ocala, there's a rule now, so people can't just haul into Grand Prix where a horse has to be there 24 hours before that major class, so that the horse isn't just going to and from and winning all the prize money in Ocala.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
So I like that.
Well, so
yeah, that's a good reason for it.
Yeah, that I agree with that. And FEI is different. Like the FEI horses have to stay on property, I'm sure, for that reason, and like, you know, drugging reasons and health reasons and all that stuff. They want to make sure that like you're not going and doing something weird to your horse, I'm sure. And that's fine. That's, you know, that's FEI. Those are professionals who are actually making a living at this. It's not the backyard amateur, you know, who might have had horses in their backyard like you did. Like we're not the same. And that's what I keep seeing online. Like the sentiment is very much like, it feels like USEF doesn't care about the bulk of their customer base, which is amateurs. The bulk of their base is amateurs who are doing this because they like it. The bulk of their base is not professionals, and it's certainly not FEI, Olympic level, world ranked, like masters competing, Rolex competing riders. Like that's a very, very small fraction, and for sure they should be held to a different standard, but I don't know why there can't be more like separation of state. Like, okay, that's a very small fraction of people and they can be dealt with separately. Maybe they adhere to just like, we just copy and paste the FEI rules to them, and then USEF just focuses on the United States like amateur base and juniors, I should say, amateur and juniors.
Yeah, right.
You make a good
kind
point.
of along that same line, why do you think some divisions count while others don't, and how does that affect amateur goals, like for points or horse of the year and all of those things?
Yeah, I did send an email this week. Again, always very polite inquiries, but just like, why is stuff done the way it is? But I asked them about, because I actually ended up doing the modified meter 15 this week as a stepping stone before we go up to the meter 20 next week, and I loved it because it was the smallest class at WEF. There was only like 15 people in my class, and that at Tryon would be considered like a fairly good sized large class, but that was a really teeny tiny class at WEF, and I loved it because it gave me the opportunity to actually think like there's a chance I can place here, like I can get a ribbon. And I asked them why, if meter 15, even though it's modified, it's still the same height as the meter 10/meter 15 amateur division, and it's still only amateurs allowed to enter, why can't it also count towards horse of the year points? And I did get an answer that apparently each show is only allowed to, let me read what she said. A show can't offer more than one section for the same category at a show, which is why only the points for the meter 10/15 amateur jumpers count towards the horse of the year. Like they couldn't have two different divisions count towards that category of horse of the year points. Why? I never got an answer. I asked why. Why not have multiple things count towards one point bucket? As long as you say you can't enter both, right? Because then people are going to double dip. Like I could enter both of those classes. I could do the meter 10 and the 15 and double dip for points. As long as you say you can only enter one or the other, why can't both of them count? I don't get it. There's no logical explanation.
But that just made me think of the podcast you sent us. They just made it so channel 2 points count towards channel 1 points, and they didn't say you can't enter both. It's so the channel 2 people have a chance to qualify for big finals, but they can do both horse shows in the same division or any mixture of divisions to count towards points to qualify for finals.
Wait, that's actually, did they say that they finally made that officially a rule? I can't remember.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. But is it starting
2027?
That's what I was going to say. It's not this year, right? It's next year.
Right,
yeah,
next year.
Because, no, I actually think that is a pretty, I'm scared to say it because maybe I'll change my mind, but I think it's a good move. I think that's a really cool move that they did. Because, for example, there's a place here called The Ridge, which does Channel 2 shows that everyone keeps suggesting to me to do because it's a lot cheaper. And actually, like, prize money is decent. Again, not my priority, but people keep saying prize money is decent. And I think the entry fee for, like, a meter 20 class is $65. and the facility's great and everything. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not Channel 1. And I'm all about those year-end awards and point accumulation. It's not Channel 1. So if they, next year that would be different. And that'd be really cool. I would probably not go to WEF at all, and I would just do the Ridge because it'd be way cheaper.
Right.
So that's good, at least, that they're doing that. But yeah, also in that email I had asked about like California splits, I think is another great thing that should be talked about for WEF. I don't know what the number is everywhere, if it changes per show, but they'll California split at 80 for the meter 20s. Why 80? That's still a ginormous class. That's still 40 people.
So many.
That's still 40
So
people.
many.
So like
Yeah.
this weekend, I didn't do the meter 20s, but this weekend I was watching it. There was 77 people in it. Still didn't get California split. 77 people in your class. You think I'm placing in that? No, probably not.
Right.
They're a lot more, is it lenient, I guess I should say, in the jumpers versus they are with the hunters. Like in the hunters, they're pretty quick to split it. But in the
Yeah.
jumpers, they're not. And I've never known why.
I think it goes back to prize money, because if they split it, then they have to offer the
Double,
same prize
basically.
money. And hunters don't really get that much prize money.
Yeah. But they have more classes.
They have more classes. Yeah. So that'd probably be what their argument is, but I think I was talking about it with someone, and they were like, they have enough money in the coffers of Wellington to be able to support at least 2 meter 20s. Like, they have enough money, I promise you. So they do that for the meter 10s. They split by age group. It's 18 to 35, and then 35 to 50, and then 50 years and older. So I don't know why they don't do it for the meter 20. I didn't get an answer to either of those questions. So
I
it's
will
so-
say, at least they separate in the 120s the juniors from the amateurs. They do not always split it in the ones, and that can really suck.
Yes.
Yeah, it can.
Look, yes. No, that would be criminal, because there would be like 200 people, and that would be just criminal. But yeah, I've been to a show before and they don't split the juniors, and I'm like, okay, but the juniors are so brave. They're going to like go crazy anyway. I'm not going to be that brave.
Yeah, there's still
same.
balls to the walls at that point. Like,
Yeah.
let's separate them. Keep them away from us.
Yeah.
They still
But the-
bounce if it doesn't
Yeah,
work.
exactly. They
Yeah, they still bounce. They have no fear.
Yeah.
We have fear.
And that's usually like a show where it's going to maybe be like 30 people if you combine them. Like, it's not like you're going to combine the juniors and amateurs and get 50 people. It's like at least when I've been to a show, it's still a reasonable number, I guess. I don't know.
30 still feels like a lot to me. I don't know.
I agree. But compared to 75 or whatever, it's doable. So it's weird. They'll respond to things in my email, but not all of them. So I still don't know why they choose 80. Maybe I need to reach out to Wellington specifically. Maybe it's their choice. And I still don't know why they don't age split the meter 20s. I don't know. They don't want
Can I tell you a good way to get a fast answer? Call them.
I don't always have enough time to sit on the phone and call, but if someone answers right
Fair.
away, I would call.
When I was working in California and I was in charge of all the memberships and stuff, and like making sure I register the right kid with the right LLC and transfer the horse to the right kind of nonsense, and uploading all like the bills of sales and everything, they were so helpful. It made my life 10 times easier. So and I wonder if that's just the membership people that are really helpful, because of course they want your membership money, right? And
Yeah.
all that nonsense. But they were helpful when I called. But I know you don't always have the time.
Did you
to
get
do
someone
that.
right away? Like, you would dial a number and someone would pick up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good
Every
to know.
time. Yeah. No, they were super nice.
No.
So give it a shot if you
I'll
have
just
time.
call them from now on. I'll just call them when I have a question. I'm just gonna put them on speed dial. Why is this the way it is? Okay, thanks.
Hey, it's me again.
You know what?
I
If you
do
ever
like explanations.
If you ever show in Kentucky this summer, you should just like drive to the USF offices every time you have a
Yeah.
question, because they're right there in the showgrounds.
Yeah, just show up, be like, it's me.
Just pull up.
Look, if you're gonna make their rulebook is like the freaking tax code. It's like 1,000 pages. If you're gonna make a 1,000-page rulebook for a sport where we're just riding, Mavis Spencer said, we're just riding farm animals over colorful sticks.
Exactly.
Like, why does the rulebook need to be 1,000 pages? And if it is, then you're gonna have to explain to me all the stupid rules.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so they can make it 1,000 pages to come full circle with how this started in the first place. That podcast, they couldn't give her a straight answer. Even this, Bill Maroney could not give this girl a straight answer. I
Yeah.
was like, guy, like, okay, it didn't get me fired up, but I was just kind of like annoyed that they couldn't just answer her questions. But
Yeah.
you got Kelsey heated after she
Yeah, I
listened
was-
to that.
I was hot after
Yeah.
that.
No, I actually was so like moved by that podcast. I DM'd that girl and I commented on her post and the Horse Person podcast. I think her name is Caroline. I commented on her post and was like, "This is one of the best podcasts I ever listened to. Like, great job."
Yeah.
I just thought she did a good job moderating and asking questions and stuff.
Yeah, she stayed very neutral. She did a great job with that. Like you could want to tell what side she was leaning on, but she stayed very, very neutral.
Yeah. No, I like super respected how she handled that. So, and it was really cool that she got Bill Maroney on there.
Oh
Like,
my gosh, yeah.
cool to hear from him. Seems like a nice guy, but very much a politician where he wouldn't really answer, like you said, Riley.
Yeah. Evade.
So I say, Jordyn, I feel like you'll have a take on this. And as somebody who's been on both sides, I feel like I could also have a take on this. Do you think the sport sometimes expects amateurs to operate like professionals? And what do you think overall would make showing more enjoyable?
Yeah, I call myself a semi-professional because my husband is really into volleyball, like sand volleyball, and he has this family friend who he always says is a semi-pro volleyball player, and I'm like, what does semi-pro mean? I guess in sand volleyball it's actually a thing, I don't know, but I have now coined the term for myself. I feel like a semi-pro because of how much I have to dedicate to this sport. It does feel like I have two careers. Like, I'm a vet, which is already like a full-time demanding job, and then because I want to do this so bad because I love it, like I try to make it as budget friendly as possible so I can do as much. Like, Riley knows I haul myself. Like, I got myself a shitty little, and I'm talking like the shittiest 2-horse trailer that is going to grace the showgrounds of Wellington. A used truck. I always do my own shavings. I bring my own hay. I groom of course I groom my own horse. I tack up my own horse. I luckily do the jumpers so I don't have to braid everything. And whenever I'm not living next to the showgrounds, I get the cheapest Airbnb and hotel I can find. Like in Ocala last month, I stayed in someone's shed. They had refurbished the shed. It was literally a prefab shed that had a compost toilet. It was a compost toilet.
Sure.
So I made sure to only nervous poop at the show because I was not. It was so bad. It was, but it was cheap. It was $300 for the whole weekend, so $100 a night, and to stay
For a compost toilet, though.
Yeah.
Did you have a shower?
Yeah, I did have a shower. Yeah.
Okay, that's redeeming.
They actually did like a really good job with it, but it was grim. It was grim.
Yeah, I would say so.
But
you have to do what you have to do.
That's what I'm saying. I'm only saying that to like emphasize the point that like I promise you I want this so bad that I don't want someone out there in the powers that be to think, well she's still like doing that, like she doesn't really struggle for money. No, I am doing this as cheaply as I can possibly do it, to the point where like I will bring food from home. Like, I'll have granola bars for breakfast every day. Like, I am stretching myself so thin that, and it's a really fine line to balance, like, that it's still fun, you know, because it is like so stressful to do everything yourself, and to do it like as cheaply as you can in a sport that really is tailored to be done in a rich way. So yeah, it makes it feel like it's two careers. And I guess the second part of your question, how did you say, how could it be more fun or more accessible?
Enjoyable.
I think it's different. I think everyone would have a different answer at that, because like what they prioritize and what parts they love about it the most. But I think for me, because I like that point accumulation and goal setting so much, like making that easier. It doesn't need to be, we don't need to make it hard, because again, we're not professionals. Like, it doesn't need to be, we don't need to have 80 people in a class. Like, what is the harm in making an age divisions? Nothing. Like, it doesn't need to be so hard to do well in the sport. Make it easier to do well, make it easier to be competitive. Of course, I would love it to be less expensive. I think that's harder to fix, right? Like, it's easy to California split at 50. It's easy to make age groups. It's not so easy to make it cheaper. I don't have easier answers for that, but certainly making people be able to haul in, that's an easy answer right there. You don't have to change anything about your business setup, just allow people to haul in and out. Potentially altering the prize money situation, but I'm sure there's people who would disagree with me, and amateurs who like having high prize money, so I would hate to say that that's a catch-all fix, but in my perfect world, prize money doesn't need to be that high, so entry fees can be cheaper. All of that stuff I think would make it more enjoyable. And then I think there's this is something I've thought of too, I've toyed with, but I don't know how I think there are some rules that exist around this, but I don't know them exactly. But having some sort of limit on how many people, how many times one person can show in each class, because I hate to say it's not fair because life isn't fair, but it's not fair when I can only afford to have one horse and there's people who have 4 horses in my class, right? Like they're showing 4 times the same course. So by the time they've done the course 3 times, of course you're gonna have a benefit. You now know how you're gonna cut that turn. You know how the line
Right.
rides. So I wish there was some rule like, okay, the same person can only show in this class like 2 times. I don't know what the right number is, but it just seems a little ridiculous. I think
And the
that
hunters, there
are rules.
it's like
Yeah.
2 or 3 in each division.
I feel like 2 or 3 is fine too. Like,
Yeah,
but more than that,
plenty.
if you've been in on 3 different rounds on 3 different horses, I'm like, you know the field, you know exactly where you need to do what. It's so much more advantageous that it's insane.
Yeah, it seems unfair. And then like, why do you need that many horses that do the same thing? Like maybe do a different height or go put your horse in the eck or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think that, and those are specific things, but overall just like trying to make it ways where it doesn't need to be so freaking expensive, and things that are redundant like those USEF USHJ fees. Why do I have to pay you a yearly fee and then also every show a fee? And yeah, and loosening up on those rules, those divisions, things like that. Just yeah. It'd be nice too overall. I think it'd be more enjoyable if we could somehow make it feel less snobby, but I don't think you can fix that really, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
That'd be my like fantasy dream, I guess, make it feel less snobby, but it's an expensive sport, so that attracts snobby people.
As a previous pro, I know my take on the amateur thingy. What's your take on, do they expect amateurs to operate like pros at shows?
My take?
Yeah. It's supposed to be a
I mean-
conversation.
Yeah, I do definitely think that they're expected to act like pros in a bunch of ways. And I think that I can kind of see it both ways, really. Like professionals definitely have a limited class schedule available to them. Like they can only compete in X amount of classes. Whereas whenever my old trainer was bringing up my old horse, she needed more options to school him through things because he was young and big and dumb, and to not just have to take him in other only trainer classes that like they're going for money and stuff, like just young horse jumper classes that aren't the young horse jumpers, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's making sense, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it, but I don't know that I can like verbalize them very well tonight. My brain is fried.
I like, because your question, like I go off on tangent, so I forget your original question, but you said like, are they expected to act like professionals? Are amateurs? Yeah,
Like,
honestly,
to operate
what is
like
the
them.
difference? How do me and Kent Farrington operate any differently except he has a way easier time? He has a ton of staff.
Right.
Otherwise, we do the same things.
And financial backing.
Yeah, like we use the same facilities except he gets fancier FEI stalls. We ride in the same tack except he rides in fit. Like there is no difference between me and Kent Farrington except he's better. He jumps higher and he has staff behind him. Like we operate in the exact same way. It's not like it's a unique sport because like you are next to the best and the best. Like here's my ring and me, and then like here's McLean Ward and his ring. So we all are using this. We're all operating very similarly, and it's interesting that I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but the way you worded that question made me really think like, dang, there's not
Yeah.
really much of a difference besides he's just better riding than I am, a better rider.
Well, and when you put it that way too, it really emphasizes the point of like we're expected to turn out our horses and show up outfitted in the exact same way as well and do everything that they
Yes.
do within the same budget. But we know that, like you said, they have a staff that works for them all the time. Whereas we then have to pay a braider and we have to pay this person, we have to pay this, and this. Yeah, they're paying their people as well, but it's not the same.
Yeah, we're expected to still like dress in the Charles Anconia jacket or whatever, which I don't, but there is the expectation that you look and dress and your horse looks and dresses the same way that Kent Farrington's horse does, and like that's just ridiculous. He's a professional. I don't know why there's this expectation that amateurs have to operate the same.
I mean, my take's different than yours. It's not opposite, but I want to say there's amateurs like the three of us who are very knowledgeable. I want to say we compose 20 to 30% of amateurs. And so for us, I would say yes, they probably expect us to operate like pros. However, you have
Because
Sally,
we are semi-pros.
Yeah, we're semi.
professional amateurs.
Yeah.
But say you have like
Exactly.
You have Sally Mae on her 2-3 horse who doesn't know her diagonal still. There's no way in the world they could ever expect Sally to operate like a professional.
Yeah.
So I feel like skill level wise, like let's talk like 3 foot and below. I would say
Right.
no, but I would say above that caliber, yes, because they probably expect you to have a certain skill level and knowledge base to where you could probably do a better job than a lot of pros in this industry.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
No, it's just checking a box, which I did see something on Facebook today that there's always talk about having to meet some qualifications before you can move up a division, or meet qualifications before you can like get a professional card, or having to have like a license to even like be an equestrian athlete, amateur or professional, because like it's so interesting. You really can just check a box that you want to be a professional.
No, literally, you check a box and you do your digital signature. Professional. Congratulations.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's
I
harder
truly
to
think
be
there
in-
should be some kind of certification course or something along the way that trainers have to do to be able to say, I'm a trainer and I can get your kid to this level because I have completed XYZ, blah, 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 blah. I feel like that would really help our sport a lot as well in a whole different conversation.
Yeah, different thing, but yeah, no, I agree.
And I must tell you, it's harder to become an amateur from being a pro than it is to go pro. Just so you know.
Yeah,
Because you have to
sure.
write, you have to
Yeah.
write a letter, get it notarized, and then 2 USEF senior members, which is just any person over 18, has to write you a letter backing you up. Also get that notarized. You have to send those to USEF, pay a $50 processing fee after you've waited a year from the last time that you took money, and then they have to take it to a board of people, like at a big meeting, and they all have to give you the yes. And then you can be an amateur again,
Oh my god.
just so you know.
That's
and then
insane.
there's
This is giving up my amateur card. Wow.
Then
Yeah.
there's a one-time rule, which is what I did. If you're under the age of 25, that you only have to wait 6 months instead of a year.
Were you under the age of 25 when you gave it up? Oh, so that's good.
I mean, yeah, I had waited like 8 or 10 months or something like that. And then the rule came out and I was like, woohoo, here we go. So it wasn't anything crazy. But yeah, it takes more work and more legwork to become an amateur than it does to become a professional.
Yeah, I
So
guess they're
you would think,
trying to, like, make
well,
it
you'd
fair.
think, no, it's not even a fairness thing, but you'd think like they would value us a little bit more. We're the reason the majority of USEF is in business, besides all the
Yeah.
teenage kids and their parents.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that their thought process is like they're like, well, if you were good enough to be a pro, why are you like, are you gonna go outshine all the amateurs and make it unfair for them or something? Like, I'm sure that's like their thought process. They want to make sure you're not cheating the system of like trying to like go knock it out of the park and like the amateur owners because you used to be a professional and you're really good. I don't know. I guess but it should not be that hard. You should not be having to go get a freaking
No.
notary. Like, are you kidding me, Yusuf? Like, you need a notary?
But
Well, it
were we
definitely
even that
shouldn't be
good?
harder to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were we even that good in the first place?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But to answer your last question, Kelsey, I think you were asking was the what do you think happens if like they don't fix the problem and they don't make it more accessible, right? Wasn't that your question?
Yeah. So if amateurs stop feeling welcomed, what do you think happens to our sport, and what changes would help keep people in the sport more long term?
It literally dies. Like, if it really gets that bad and goes on this long, like, it will literally die. There will be other organizations that pop up. I actually just saw one last night called the United Dressage and Jumping Club. Have you heard
It
of
started where I'm.
Oh, yeah.
It started where I'm from. Yeah, I'm friends. I say friends loosely with the guy that started it all and is working to make it a big deal.
that? It looks
Hey.
like it's gaining traction.
Get
It
me a
has. It's
judging
in
gig.
multiple states.
Yeah.
I probably can, honestly.
I'm dead serious, please.
No, I want to get him on the podcast as well. Like I know a couple of people that have worked for him, and his barn is next to my old vet's house, and so he's local to where I'm from, all of that stuff. And I think he would jump at an opportunity to get out and spread more knowledge about UDJC because it's really seeming to take off down here. All the other states that I've seen that have hosted a competition for it, people have nothing but great things to say
And the judges give you feedback, Jordan, on
after every
single
course.
round.
Jumpers, hunters, everything.
That's cool.
And like the lower level jumpers are judged off of style, not speed, so that you're not promoting your kids getting out there and ripping around dangerously. So they don't do it as a hunter course style, but I don't know really what their qualifications are for it. But then they'll give you things to work on, and hey, like, this is why we scored you in this, and if you did this instead, you would have scored better. Try this, try that. And people are eating it up.
That's so cool. I love that. Again, it's like accessibility, just like making it accessible to talk to the judge because you want to get better. Like, you like the sport and you want to know what you did wrong and right. Like, just open communication. Like, that's so cool, and it should not be that novel of an idea. But I think that that's like, you'll start see, I always see people on social media saying like they're gonna have to start considering going to one of these other things like the National Snapping Association or the UDJC, because they're gonna get priced out of USEF. So yeah, I don't know, but if you don't have the amateur base, like, it's gonna die.
You were an adult for the majority of your life. You were only a child for 18 years or 17 years per USEF. So they need to, I feel like they really need to work harder to make us feel more welcome.
And really with that, I mean, do you consider a kid under 5 a kid that's going to be able to compete or do anything other than walk, halt, or lead line or stuff like that? So really it just narrows it down even more. I mean, you have 13 years basically of kid eligibility. So you want to pertain to them because they're also going to be the people that are leading and continuing on with the sport in the future. Like, they're going to be the ones that take over. So if you don't have the bottom levels to bring up into the sport, you're going to lose the sport there as well.
Well, and when they age out of the big equitation, their life's over anyways, and they quit. So
yeah,
because they burn them out. The kids who are doing the EC, like, they're actually going to finals and stuff. Jesus Christ, that life. I read somewhere, this is crazy, I'm about to get us out, last point, and then we'll be done, but I read somewhere that you know how they have like the NCEA, it's like the NCAA but for equestrian sports, so it's, you actually like get signing, and getting drafted into schools. The average competitor who got signed to a school with an NCEA team had been to 42 competitions that year.
Good Lord.
You're going to horse show every week almost.
Yeah, that's 10 weeks out of the year that you're not. Like,
who could do
it's
that?
always the top class families that are the ones that get recruited like that anyway, which is also another just like stick in the heart for the kids that are out there busting their ass trying to make it to the shows and stuff like we all were as kids.
And those kids are not going to be able to go to 42 competitions. A lot of those kids are trainers. A lot of trainers' kids are going to school for that. Because obviously they could go to a horse show every weekend because their mom or dad is going. Yeah, exactly. It's just another way to unfortunately like price out a whole section of kids.
Jordyn, thank you so much for coming on. Do you want to plug your socials or anything like that? Where can people find you?
I have an Instagram, but it's not a social. But it is public because my goal over the summer was to get USHJ to share my story, and they did. So I am public now. They shared my story once. I don't know what my thing is, but I'm Jordyn with a Y. Don't need followers, but I welcome like anyone who wants to talk about this stuff with me.
Welcome friends.
Friends. Or if there's any other amateurs out there who are struggling and just want to vent.
That's it for this episode of Stable Secrets.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.